Today we're going to be learning about graphing linear equations, and we're going to be using a table. So functions can be represented in words, in a table, with a graph, or with an equation. An equation such as y equals 3x is called a linear equation. It's linear because the variable x, its exponent, is 1. So this is going to create a straight line when you go to graph it. So let's look at an example for graphing a line by using a table. So we have the equation y equals negative x plus 8. The first thing we're going to do is choose values for x. I like to use the values negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And then what you're going to do is take each x and substitute it into the equation. So let's look at negative 1. We have y equals negative x. So negative x. Instead of x, we're going to write negative 1. And then we're adding 8. A negative and a negative make a positive. So we have 1 plus 8. And 1 plus 8 gives us 9. So what we just did was simplify. And then we need to write the solution as an ordered pair. So we're going to take an x and then our y. So our ordered pair is negative 1, 9. And we continue that down until we have enough points to graph. In this case, we need to have 4 points. So let's continue on. Negative x. Negative x, we have 0 plus 8. Negative 0 is the same thing as 0. So 0 plus 8 is 8. So we have the point 0, 8. Now if we have 1, we're substituting in. Negative 1 plus 8. Negative 1 plus 8, think of it as 8 minus 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. So we have the point 1, 7. The last one here, negative x. So negative, or x is 2 plus 8. So negative 2 plus 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. So we have the point 2, 6. After we have our table and our points, we are going to graph it. So the first point we have negative 1, 9. So we're going to go over 1, down 9. And then we have 0, 8. We don't move, and then we go down 8. 1, 7. Go over 1, down 7. And 2, 6. To the right 2, down 6. And then we are going to draw a line. Our line, we are using a ruler or something that has a straight edge to it, and drawing, connecting our line or dots to make a straight line. And then you need to make sure when you draw it, you go to the edge of the graph, because there's more points on here. We could have plugged in, let's see, positive 5. And then what answer we would have got was negative 3. So all of these are points on the line. So the line continues on and on. Now what I want you to do is pause the video and do this problem. Come back and check your work once you are finished. Okay, let's check your work. So we have the equation y equals 2x minus 1. Let's substitute in some x values. points. I'm going to do -1, 0, 1, and 2. Substitute them in. 2 times x, but we have -1, -1. 2 times -1 is -2, minus 1 is -3. So we have the point -1, -3. Now substitute in 0. 2 times x, but x is 0, minus 1. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is -1. So we have the point 1, -1. We have 1 for x here. Substitute in 2 times 1, minus 1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. So we have the point 1, 1. Last one, we have 2 for our x. Substitute in 2 times 2, minus 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we have the point 2, 3. Now let's graph it. -1, -3. Over 1, down 3. 0, -1. Don't move and go down 1. 1, 1. To the right 1, up 1. And 2, 3. To the right 1, up 3. Now we have our points graphed. We need to draw our line. Make sure you're using a ruler or a straight edge. Connect the points. Continue the lines to the edge of the graph. And don't forget your arrows. Now let's look at solving an equation for y. To solve an equation for y, you need to isolate y. In other words, get y by itself. So we have this equation, 3x minus y equals 9. We need y by itself. So we need to move over the x. We have 3x, which is positive, so we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. Cancels out. We have -y equaling -3x plus 9. Now y is by itself, but it has a negative. We need to get rid of the negative, so all we're going to do is divide everything by -1. And all that does is changes all the negatives to a positive and all the positives to a negative. So it flips the sign. So we have y equals 3x minus 9. Now y is isolated by itself, so it's going to be a lot easier to graph lines this way. So look at the next example. We need to get y by itself. So we need to move over x. So we have 9x, which is positive, so we're going to subtract 9x from both sides. Cancels out. Bring down everything else as is. 3y equals. Then we have -9x plus 3. Y has a 3 attached, so that's being multiplied, so we're going to divide and do the opposite. So dividing everything by 3. So we get y to equal -9 divided by 3 is -3x, and a 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now try this last one by yourself. Okay, let's check it. So we have y on the left-hand side by itself, but we have the 3 attached. So that's being multiplied, so we have to divide everything by 3. So we get y to equal 15 divided by 3 is 5x, and -12 divided by 3 is -4, so -4. So now, this last example we're looking at is we need to graph x plus y equals 5. So we're going to apply what we just did, isolating y, and then do our table and then graph our points. So we need y by itself first. To get y by itself, we need to subtract x from both sides. So we have y equals 5 minus x. Or you could have wrote it y equals negative x plus 5. I'm going to do it the first way, 5 minus x. So now let's choose some x values. I'm going to do negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Substitute in your x. 5 minus x, but x is negative 1. Minus a negative makes a positive, so 5 plus 1 gives us 6. So we have the point negative 1, 6. Now substitute 0 in. 5 minus 0. 5 minus 0 is 5, so we have the point 0, 5. Substitute 1 in. 5 minus 1 gives us 4, so we have the point 1, 4. And lastly, 5 minus 2 gives us 3, so we have the point 2, 3. Now graph it. So negative 1, 6. 0, 5. 1, 4. And 2, 3. Once you have your points plotted, draw your line, edge to edge of the graph. And then draw your arrows. So that is the lesson on graphing lines using a table. So please reach out if you end up having any questions.